My name is Morgan Halsma. I'm going to be your moderator this morning. Really quick before we kick things off, I'm going to go through a couple housekeeping items. First of all, we will be doing a demo of the product, which is very exciting. But because of that, we're not going to be able to take questions at the end. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat box, and we will make sure we get to those on the backside. We are also excited to tell everybody that by registering and attending this morning, everybody will be eligible to do a free whiteboarding session with Statera. So we will be reaching out to you for that as well afterwards. And lastly, this will be recorded, so we will be sending that out afterwards. So no need to worry if you missed something or if you need to go back and hear it again. We'll be doing that. And without any further ado, let me introduce our speakers. First, we have Lori Sanders, who is a VP at Statera. Lori specializes in strategy development, project planning and execution, and process improvement in CRM with an emphasis on Salesforce.com. Next, we have Ga Bird. Ga is a strategic account manager for Service Cloud at Salesforce, and she specializes in customer experience. And last but certainly not least, we have Joanna Knott. Joanna is a senior consultant with over 8 years of Salesforce experience. She joined Statera 2.5 years ago, and her certifications include Sales, Service Cloud, FSL, and CPQ. So with that, I will kick it over to Lori, and she will get things started.
All right, thanks, Morgan. So if we go to the next slide, just to give you guys an idea of what we're going to cover today, Morgan talked a little bit about it, but it's really two parts. The first part is really going to be talking about the business around FSL, right? What's in it from a business perspective? And then we're going to transition into more of how Salesforce helps you solve those business problems, and then show you specifically how Salesforce does that. So that's really the idea around today. All right, so let's get started with just the basics. Next slide, please. So many of you on the phone have Service Cloud today, and I just wanted to kind of lay a groundwork as we moved into talking solely about Field Service Lightning moving forward here. But if you think about the difference in those, Service Cloud is really focused on your internal service agents, right? And they're getting service very well from the capabilities that your service agents and the Salesforce platform bring today. But Field Service is really about optimizing your mobile workforce. So how do you optimize those resources in the field? You'll hear us call them technicians today a little bit. And really, if you look at that, both of these are needed to give your end customers a great customer experience end to end when it comes to service. All right, so now let's switch into really focus on FSL and why FSL is important. There's a couple reasons. If you look at the market pressures, and probably many of you guys have seen this today, it really requires business to differentiate with their service experience. And that great customer experience happens both in the internal call center as well as externally with your technicians. Your service agents today know a lot about your customers because you're using Service Cloud. So what we need to do now is figure out how to take that data and help push it out into the field so that the field can give that personalized experience to your customers as well. And really, that customer experience in both really kind of lands on last but definitely not least, helping influence those purchasing decisions going forward. So keeping your customers and preventing churn, as well as helping them grow in the products and services that they have from your company. So I'm going to pass it over to Ga, actually, and she's going to discuss challenges a little bit and then really transition into how Salesforce can help you with these problems.
Thanks, Lori. And I want to just add on to what Lori was saying as far as why Field Service Lightning is important. First of all, if you think about your folks that are out in the field, they are your customer-facing people that represent your organization and your brand. And the challenge that we see today is that customers have a different expectation. We're in a highly connected world. Customers are expecting to have a much more personalized, connected experience. And when customers are making buying decisions about your products or services, they're really going to evaluate it based on their experience in working with you. What is the level of effort? What's the experience that they're getting from you from the service perspective? The challenge that a lot of our customers are facing is that a lot of the mobile workforce today is still using kind of the old, paper-based systems. They're calling in to schedule work orders. They're using Excel spreadsheets to schedule resources. And the challenge is when they're out in the field and they're meeting the customers, they may not have all the information they need. So there is definitely a disconnected customer experience where the customer may not feel that personalized, connected experience. And we'll go to the next slide. So where Salesforce comes in is with Service Cloud, really for Service Cloud and extended it by adding Field Service Lightning, which Field Service Lightning now we have our workforce the ability to provide a dispatch console where the dispatcher is going to be able to look at skills, certification, look at other aspects of scheduling, such as reducing drive time. So the dispatcher is going to be able to schedule the right people with the right skills at the right place at the right time. And then with Field Service Lightning, we're going to extend it by giving the mobile workforce a mobile application. So now your technicians out in the field will have all the data and the work orders and information that they need to be effective and quickly closing out on that work order. And from a business perspective, companies are seeing a significant reduction in cost of service because we're reducing the need for potential multiple truck rolls. The technician has the information and the equipment they need to complete the service. And in some cases, we have customers that actually are increasing revenue because in the field, the technician is able to upsell or cross-sell additional products, additional warranty service, et cetera. And the last point I'll make, the last few points is around the power of being on the Salesforce platform. Now being on a Salesforce platform, you will have access to all that rich CRM information, account information, customer contact information, history around services and warranty, et cetera. And again, we talked a little bit about being able to schedule and optimize resources. And even if the technician is offline and they may not have access to cellular service, they're going to be able to continue to work because they'll have offline capabilities with having that information still on their mobile device. And so now the customer's experience is going to be different. It'll be much more proactive, a much more connected customer experience. So now I'm going to switch over. We're going to pass the ball over to Joanna, and Joanna is going to do a demonstration of Field Service Lightning.
Good morning. Thank you, Gal. So today we will look at Field Service Lightning. First, we'll focus on what the dispatcher will see when they log in. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So when the dispatchers come into the application, they will see the Gantt chart. They will be able to see where all their technicians are located. They will have visibility into who is working, who might be on vacation. The Gantt is color coded, so you will be quickly able to recognize whether the appointments are dispatched, which ones are completed, which ones are still to be scheduled, and also if the technician is on PTO or vacation time, so no jobs could be scheduled over that. On the left-hand side, you will see all the appointments that still need to be either scheduled or they are completed with the dates. With the map functionality, the the dispatcher will be able to see where all the technicians are at any given point of time. They can see where the jobs are scheduled and where the technicians are currently working. With the display, they can look at the Gantt either in daily mode or in 2 days. So if they need to zoom in or zoom out, they have the capability of looking at weekly, or if your business model uses multi-day appointments, then you can look at the Gantt from multi-day perspective. So next I'll show you how that works, how the appointments are scheduled, and then finally I'll show you the mobile application from the technician's perspective. So we already have a case created. A customer called in and reported an issue with the set-top box. We're a small cable company. However, the application can be customized to any business and the size of the business and any vertical or any industry. It doesn't have to be cable. It could be financial services. It could be construction. It could be cleaning services, you name it. The application is scalable and very easy to customize to meet your needs. As long as you have workforce in the field where people need to be dispatched, sometimes you need to change those appointments on the fly, that application is capable of handling those. And with combination with Salesforce, both the technicians and dispatchers will have 360 view of each customer. So they will know quickly by looking at the notes, looking at the assets that the customer currently has, what services need to be provided and what jobs were done previously. So if the technician is working on site, they can quickly review everything that was done before. All right, so as I mentioned before, we have a case already created. The customer called in and reported an issue, and we have to create a work order and dispatch one of the technicians. So I will play a role of customer service agent who will create a work order. And it will be on the existing asset. We'll be replacing it. And I can provide notes to my technician, explain what needs to be done, so they can see those notes when they open up the work order. So now I need to get my technicians. Let's see who is available. So I'll go to candidates. Okay, my client is so the system will show me I have two potential candidates for this job. I have one in Wesley, and they can do the job as soon as early as today. So let's select Wesley. It looks like his availability is at 1:43 today. So I'll select him and schedule him for this job. Okay, so my service appointment has been scheduled. Wesley should receive a notification on his phone. So let's look at this service appointment on the Gantt. As I mentioned, on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see all your appointments that were dispatched or those that still need to be dispatched. You can notice the one we just created just appeared on the Gantt. So I can either right-click here and schedule this and dispatch this service appointment, or I can select one here, select it here, and then dispatch those that are scheduled but not dispatched yet. I can do it manually as a dispatcher, but I can have the system do it for me either a night before or the day of. Some customers like to run the optimization in the morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. So any changes, last minute changes to the existing service appointments can be picked up, and those service appointments can be dispatched accordingly. So that's the main piece of FSL, this Gantt chart giving us so much information here. As you can see, we can track utilization of the entire service team, or we can track it for the technician. We can schedule those time offs here. We can do it from the service resources profile as well. So let me switch to what the technician will actually see. All right, so here I'm logged in as the technician, and I am viewing all service appointments that are assigned to me. So as you can tell, I have one that was scheduled today, so I need to go in and change the status. Right now it's dispatched, but I'll go ahead and change the status to in progress. And as I'm making those changes, the the dispatchers and the agents will be able to see those changes dynamically. So everything that I enter here in my phone, they are able to see in the service console and in CRM. So right now I'm displaying the work order information. So as you can see, we have multiple tabs here, so I can go through those tabs, and if we had any products consumed, they would be displayed here. I can see all the details, the same details that I can see in the CRM. They are available to the technician in the field. As you can tell, we have an asset that was previously installed, and this is the asset that needs to be replaced. And I can also go to any related tabs here. So again, related lists, as we see them in CRM, I can review the service appointments that were previously dispatched. All the work order history is at my fingertips. So I can review what was done before with those assets, if there were any other issues that I need to be aware of when I'm fixing the issue. And I can also go to feed. So this is my chatter. I can post a message. I can post a photo here. I can communicate with the service center, with the call center. I can ask questions if I need help from somebody who is in the office. Maybe I need some documentation. I can ask them the question and post it here on Chatter, and they will get my message instantly. So if we look at the service appointment, my service appointment, again, gives me the details around who I need to work with, the times for my service appointment, and any notes that maybe somebody in the call center provided. So you can see the description here. I have to replace the router. I need to replace the box, possibly a cable. So I know what needs to be done, what the customer, what information customer provided to the customer service center when they called in. So now I am ready to close this service appointment and generate a report. So I'll go and change the status. I have replaced the box. I can provide my notes here. And I'll save that. And again, those notes will be visible in the CRM to anybody who is reviewing the service appointments information. So now we are ready to generate the report. I can preview that service report. Maybe I need to add additional information if I missed a field or if I forgot to enter. If all looks good, then I can present my mobile device to my customer and get their signature. I apologize for that. Okay, so he's ready to sign. We'll save that, and we can generate the report. So my report is generated. It will be saved on my mobile device. Now, if I were offline, because oftentimes you may have technicians who work in the field where they have no internet service, they can still enter the notes into the application. And then when they go back to the hotel or when they get access to the internet, then they can upload the information once the application syncs up with the database. The information will be synced up. So we have those pending uploads. You will see them if you're offline and if you enter any notes here. And again, once you get back online, they will be synced up to the application. So this is what the technician will be able to see. Of course, there's a lot of information I could show you today. We have only limited time. with that, I'll switch to our story. We have implemented the application for one of our customers. So let me share that story with you. One of our customers is a large manufacturing company, and they were struggling with the field technicians who were basically using paper notes for everything. They struggled with calendar, with scheduling, where they would overwrite the technicians' availabilities. So they were missing the core piece for being able to do the job efficiently and provide good tools for their field technicians. The way we implemented the application for them was by building out FSL so they can use the Gantt and scheduling piece first of all. Secondarily, the ability to see the customer 360 view was critical. Now the technicians are able to see all the notes in the system when they are on their mobile devices. They can review the previous work orders, and they can see which assets these clients have. And of course, when they work on site, and oftentimes they are on large ships somewhere in the middle of the ocean, they don't have internet access, so they can type those notes, enter them into the mobile application, and then as soon as they are online, they can sync up the information and generate their weekly reports. So that was the core functionality they were looking for. And with the scheduling piece, now the service technicians all exist in one place. All supervisors and managers of service centers are able to see who is available and when. So if they need to borrow a technician for a job, they can see if the technician is available or not. So what did we learn from that project? First of all, we learned that you have to have your requirements clearly defined before you make the purchase decision. You need to understand the capabilities and the features of the application and make sure they are aligned with the business model. As I mentioned, I could spend hours today to show you all the features of FSL. We had only limited time. There are so many features I didn't show you. For instance, the timesheets. Our client also was looking into implementing timesheets in FSL. That functionality is there. Inventory management is also part of the FSL. So make sure you understand what features and capabilities are and if they meet your needs. And also understand the FSL licensing model. At this point, Salesforce offers 6 different license types, so understand what they provide. If you work with partners, for instance, you can have a license just for partners, so they have view and they have access to FSL, so they can do only what they need to be doing. The next thing we learned was understanding your user groups. Again, it ties to the licensing, so make sure you understand how the licenses ties to your user groups and territories and your working hours, because these are critical pieces of configuration and building up the application. And lastly, start small. So determine your minimally valuable product. Make sure you understand the out-of-the-box functionality, and then start gradually customizing. That's the best way to do it. You don't want to customize it too much from the get-go. You want to understand what capabilities are, what you can do out of the box, and then slowly add on and automate and make the application do things that it's capable of. So with that, I'll turn it back to Morgan so we can close up the meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna. Like we mentioned at the beginning, even though we've got a couple minutes left here, I think we will not be taking questions, but please drop those into the chat box and we will make sure that we get back to all those. As you can see, we also have all of our contact information up here. If you have any further questions that you want to take offline, please shoot me an email. Again, my name is Morgan Houtsma. I'm that last one on the bottom there. And thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Have a good rest of your Thursday and have a good weekend.